Hello everybody, my name is Steve, this is The Fandom Show. It's Monday again, which must mean that it's time for another episode of Monday Suck. Today I'm taking it way back to 1979. Yes, if you can believe it, 1979 is considered way back, and I say that as someone who was born 2 years after that. And we are looking at one of the worst television shows ever created. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Supertrain. Now, most of you watching this probably weren't even born when this came out, or if you were, you might not even remember it because it only ran for 3 months. The concept behind Supertrain is pretty simple. It's basically the Love Boat, except that it's set on a train. So you've got this fancy train. Basically, if you took a cruise ship and turned it into a train, that's what this was. It was like a big fancy train, had all kinds of amenities and bells and whistles, the whole deal. And so the characters on the show, you had of course, the employees, the people that worked on the train, and then as the train would stop in various cities, the weekly guest stars would come on and depart, etc., etc. Not a bad idea in theory. NBC, if you can believe it, spent $10 million on this. Now, that was back in 1979. In today's dollars, that'd be about $36 million, bordering on $40 million. And this was such a colossal flop that it almost bankrupted the network. The main gripe about the show was not that it didn't look good. Visually, it looked very good for its time. The sets for the train looked fantastic, and in fact, that's where a lot of the money went. They built a huge miniature of this train for external shots, and look up the train on YouTube. Just type in Supertrain, you'll see it's basically like a DeLorean on a train track is the best way that I can describe it. But it was kind of a really neat looking thing. It was meant to be a bullet train, which is a train that travels really quickly. Not that that had too much relevance to the plot. But the main gripe about the show is that the acting wasn't very good, the storyline sucked, the characterization wasn't there. You would not recognize, at least most people watching this video probably wouldn't recognize any of the names in the cast. The only name I recognized looking at it was Robert Alda, who's the father of Alan Alda, who of course played in MASH and any number of other TV shows over the years. But nobody of note in the cast, and the ratings for the show, the reviews were absolutely terrible. People just thought it was cheesy. Here's another stupid thing about it. It started off as an action-adventure show, but by the 9th episode, they were trying to basically save it because everybody knew how crappy it was, so they turned it into a comedy and added a laugh track. So in 10 episodes, we've gone from an action-adventure show to a comedy show. That ought to tell you that whatever TV program this is not going to last, and it sure as heck didn't. Like I said, it nearly bankrupted NBC. Thankfully it didn't. NBC is still around. They got their Peacock thing now, and they're still kicking. But this was one of the most expensive flops on television in a long, long time. In fact, with inflation, it's probably one of the most expensive flops ever. And again, kind of a shame. This is sort of a neat idea, but it didn't really work at all because they didn't put enough effort into the characterization. The executive producer of this series was the same guy who executive produced Dark Shadows, if you're familiar with that show. And that should be like, okay, first he does Dark Shadows, now he's doing this show about a train. Like, maybe stay in your lane, dude. But anyhow, if you get a chance, hop on YouTube, look at the opening credit sequence to this show. It is 70s to the max. Possibly the only decent thing about the show. Like, you'll be able to mock it again and again and again. But I would certainly, you can find full episodes on YouTube. I certainly would not suggest that you subject yourselves to those, but they are out there if you are curious and or sadistic. So that wraps us up for another episode of Monday Suck. We'll be on hiatus for the next couple of weeks because I will be out of town, but when I come back, I'm going to be doing an XXL episode, and you are going to want to check in for that because I'm going to be featuring an entire season of a TV show. Go ahead and try to guess which one. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great night.